Good morning. Woohoo! Hey, check it out. Super cool to be here with you. And what a fantastic day it is already, right? No matter where you're from, today's an awesome day, right? So if you would, in the chat box, just tell me how awesome is the day already. Just call it out, call out the intention, make it straight in your head. This is how the day is going to run, right? Okay, super cool. Well, my name is Kirk Duncan, and welcome to our empath training here today. Now, I figure since you are here, you got some interest in this topic, right? You're like, what is this? What? And maybe it's been just a mysterious topic to you. Maybe it's something you've been recognizing about yourself. Well, today I'm going to take some time and really help you in dialing in on what this is, how to use this, and why it's so important that if you do have empath abilities, to use them. We need to help people. No more hiding. We got to get after it, right? Well, I want to take a second here and introduce ourselves as the company as three key elements. We have been doing this business or mission. I'd rather call it a mission, but the way other people see it, they call it a business, but this is our mission. Both Kim and I, both my wife and I, we love what we do. We've been doing this now for over 17 years, officially and intentionally fulfilling our mission to teach each person how to activate their mind, manage their emotions, and fulfill their life mission. Because that's what we're here on earth to do, right? Find out our purpose and get after it and do that purpose. So we here at Three Key Elements, we have a team that backs us. We have a team that's awesome and they've been with us for a long time to help us reach out and to connect with people. And we literally teach people all over the world. That's what we love about the internet is we can reach people all over the world. So it's so cool. So we love living our mission every day. And it's just so fulfilling and so rewarding to know that when I wake up, I'm doing the thing I'm called to do. That's the thing, is I'm doing the thing I'm called to do, meaning take what gifts and talents and experiences I have and share them with another. That's the thing, right? We help each other. I do my part, you do your part, and we serve people and we help each other along the way. So I've got this great technology here. I've got slides. I've got, where's my picture? You need the little video of me in the corner. Hey, what's up? Good morning to you. But we used to do live events. We did a lot of live events. We did live events for years and years and years. And we did anywhere between 1 and 2 full-on 3-day seminars a month. 1 to 2 full-on seminars a month, 3 days long, and in an event center. And we were full on. I mean, there was audiences of 500, 800, 1,000 people. And we love it. We did it for so many years, and just loved it. I didn't have my own school building, kind of like that kind of a thing. So it's like, all right, we'll use other people's buildings. And it's a lot cheaper than building your own building. And so super cool. Love being in front and being connected with others and sharing my experience. And that's my whole intention, is like, let's just share. Kim got on stage with me in particular classes. We loved it. We love working together, and we're still working together. We're still making a difference out there in the world. We have not stopped. No matter what happens in the world, it's not going to stop the Duncans from doing what we do. Because we get it. If we don't help each other out, we struggle as people. So the thing is, serve each other, help each other, make a difference, right? Do your thing. What is your thing? And do your thing. What's your thing? Are you doing your thing? And that's to serve people in the way that you've been blessed with your gifts and your talents and your wisdom, your knowledge, everything you've been given. Do your thing. All different kinds of topics. I love body language. I love talking about body language. That will come up a little bit later, and why empaths are so good at body language. But I love helping people pay attention to each other. That's the thing. How do we help each other pay attention to each other? That's what reading body language is all about. Had the opportunity to be on TV lots of times for many, many years. Fantastic. But let's go back to the beginning. Let's just cut to the chase here. The back to the beginning is being born as a person on this planet and trying to figure out who you are, right? And what you're here to do. Of course, we're here to learn. We grow up as a kid and we have our experiences, some good, some bad, some better, some worse. We all have our history as a child, right? We have childhood. You've had a childhood. I've had a childhood. Those childhood memories still live inside of us, right? It's still there. We still got that kid side to us, that teachable side. And we grow up and we have funny haircuts. We have funny styles and funny haircuts as we grow up. And then we go to school. Oh yeah, then we're going to learn a lot, right? School's going to save us. Bless those teachers. Oh, I hope heaven blesses every teacher out there in the world, every person who tries their best to help another through teaching. So bless those teachers. Even though they drove me nuts as a kid, I didn't understand it back then. But but now I get it. I totally honor and respect every teacher out there who's trying to do their best in serving and helping, right? But yeah, first day of school, woohoo! First day of school, going for it, and got my bag. I'm sure I got my pencils, my notepad. Wow, gonna learn, constantly learning. But here's the thing, what happened along the way when it comes to learning? First day of school, anxious, got to learn topics that we don't know much about. And then we get tested and then we get shown where we're not paying attention, right? Is school really over? I don't think it is. I think school's really still going on, even though you're not in a building and you're not like going, maybe you are, but as we get older, we kind of forget about education, learning, developing, stretching ourselves. Maybe the first day of school really isn't over. Maybe it's still going. Do you ever feel like that? You wake up and it's like, wow, here we go again. I think school's still happening. So, the whole education experience for you, maybe it wasn't good for you in school. Maybe it just wasn't good and you're done with education. Well, today I'm going to share some things with you that's going to feel like school. I'm going to teach you some things you may have missed along the way in this course of life. Now, I get it. I had the same thing happen. I've had good grades and I've had bad grades. How many of you have had Fs? In fact, get in the chat box. Is there anybody who struggled in school? I don't know about you, but man, it was tough for me. It just didn't make sense. I don't know what was wrong with me as a kid. I just didn't make sense. I saw the kids, in school that were doing the A's, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. I thought that they were a rare anomaly, right? It's like, what? Who are you? Maybe you're one of those straight A people. All right, good for you. But man, I was this kind of kid. I think my mom was pretty happy that I was able to graduate. Were you that way too? Or maybe I was the only one. But but still I go and I learn. So there's a couple things we learn as we grow up, right? We learn how to do chores, we learn how to do our homework, we learn how to do our stuff. We go through those tests. And then there's another thing that we don't really realize that happens along the way is all these experiences kind of get attached to us. Something I was called growing up, I was called an introvert. I was called quiet. I was called shy. Definitely, there was evidence on paper that I got bad grades in school. I couldn't remember things very well back then. And so I sat in the back of the class and tend to do things alone because I was kind of a different kind of kid. I was just quiet and sensitive. And out on the recess, I know it sounds like the biggest sob story, but it's like, yeah, even I was the slow kid. So, growing up, It was a little, it wasn't rough. It was just, yeah, it was just like whatever. But the thing is, however the first half of my life has been, the first half doesn't mean that the second half has to be the same way. The first half, it's quite an interesting trip, isn't it? It's quite the trip. And so, the first half doesn't have to be like the second half. I do know some people, though, who would say they don't believe they can change or improve or be better or, rise up to something they've always wanted to do. Because what happens is we kind of get settled in. We get settled in as a person because it's like, oh, this is just how life is. But no. The education and learning is still going on. You're not done yet. That's the thing. You gotta claim that I'm not done yet. No matter how many failures, no matter what's not working, you're not done. Because there's another half to your life. There's the front half. And then there's the next half, that's the second half. So I'm a big believer of this because when my first half was kind of sketchy and just kind of like, what? Is this it? Is this me? Am I always going to be an introvert? Am I always going to be shy? Am I always going to be quiet? Am I always going to have to can't remember things? Am I always going to get bad grades as an adult? Bad grades in relationships or finances or goal setting. Am I always going to get bad grades, or can that change? Well, there's a first half of life and then there's a second half. So if I were you, I would write that down. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. You put that on your paper, you take the note, you circle it, and just go, wait a minute, I'm not done yet, because there's another half of my life here I'm going to open up and I'm going to step into this. Now, what happened to me, and this is just my story, what happened to me on my second half, I added a whole nother side to my life. I added things. I became more talkative. Now, when I get talking, people can't shut me up. They're like, Kirk, we got to go to bed. We got to end this. It's got to be over. And I always want to go over in my classes. I always want to talk to people. I always want to share with them what I figured out, because up here it was like shy, quiet. But over here, it's like, whoa, I got something to say. And over here, putting myself out there, motivated. Instead of having bad grades, it's like, I'll just build my own type of training and consulting. Super creative at being in front of the class. And so all these things, I now help people instead of run away from people. Now I'm helping people. And now I teach people all over the world. And it's like, what happened to me? What happened? Well, the first half, I didn't know who I was. And then I started to cross the line to figure out who I am. What am I here to do? All right, let's get after it. And I started to get after it. And see, you got the same thing going on. You're not different than me. You got this first half, and you can always, settle in on it and go, yeah, that's just how I am. No. However you are, that's not your done moment. You're not finished baking. Put you back in the oven. You're not done baking yet. There's still some more to go. You still have this other half of your life to fulfill. I hope you get that. You're not done yet. And if you have decided you are, yeah, I'm here to kind of straighten you up here. You're not done. Well, Kirk, I've tried this. So? I don't care how many times you've tried. What matters is that you are still looking to change. You can change. Even though it feels like, you're walking around with 100 pounds on your back. Man, if I can, you can. Believe me. I take forever to do things. And so if I can do this, you can do this. So if anything you get from this conversation here this morning, it's, you got this. Change is in the opportunity slot right now for you to upgrade or be different. So this line, we're going to cross this line today. I'm going to open you up to a side of you probably haven't noticed. Now you're going to tell me, oh, but Kirk, that's not me. And I'm going to say, I don't care what you think you are. I'm going to tell you what you can be. So just so you know, I'm not going to back off on the fact that you can still cross this line from the interpretation and definition you have of yourself. That can always be improved. Your skill level can always be improved. Your ability level can always be improved. You're not done. You're not done. So we're going to cross the line today and say, yep, there's a side of you, this empath side of you. Because I figure if you're here, you're already sensing you got some of these type of qualities, and you just want to know how to use it. How to use it for good. So it's not crushing you on the inside. We're going to cross the line. You know how people say, don't cross the line? We're crossing the line. We're not going to stay over here for you and go, oh, okay, I guess you're finished. Guess you're done. No, come on, let's go. Let's check out the rest of your life and see what's going on. So my intention of this webinar is, number one, raise awareness of the benefits of activating this gift to a higher level. This is a really important gift. And you'll get what I mean by gift as I go through this, if that's a new word for you. But you could also use the word talent or trait. Benefits of activating this trait or this talent to a higher level. And I'm talking about empath abilities. It's not woo-woo. It's real. It's a real thing. People make it woo-woo because they just don't understand it. Number two, inspire you to serve others. That's where being an empath really comes in, because that's where you really can shine at serving people. Number three, build personal confidence to take bigger action. Empaths have been too quiet for too long in what they do. And so we got to get you going in how you're going to serve people. Number four, be intentional and get organized to serve others. Not just this random thing, but it's like you're planning on changing people's lives, because that's what empaths can do. We can change people's lives because of the way we see things, the way we are. We can really help other people. And let's say on number four, let's say you're an entrepreneur. Well, empaths make fantastic business owners. Let's say you're a manager. Empaths make fantastic managers. Empaths are not weak. They're not weird. They're not woo-woo, and they're not weak. Empaths are on. They are so in tune. They're so connected. They can do so many great things. That's why we got to help. We got to help you and others who are empaths. Like, let's be intentional so you can really thrive and help other people along the way. And then number five, take action. However you're going to take action, whatever that service looks like. You got something to sell, you got something to offer, you're a business owner, you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a manager, you're a leader, whatever position you play, you activate this gift, this talent, this trait, you're going to find out how much of a bigger impact you can make in people's lives. Okay, there's a few myths here though. Let's go through a few of these myths that roam around when it comes to empaths. Empaths are out of touch with reality. What? Are you kidding? Empaths go beyond the surface. They know more truth than the common person. Yeah, but people want to snuff this out. Guess why people want to snuff out the truth about empaths and think empaths are weird? Is because empaths don't let people get away with lying. That's why people want empaths to go away. Is like, no, we don't want empaths to be something real, because then they can catch us when we justify our lives, where we lie or where we deceive ourselves. Empaths are about truth. They're about truth. I mean, they're about what's real. And so people make empaths weird because they want to diminish them, because most people live a life of lies. They lie to themselves, they deceive themselves, and yet they have so many problems. So here comes an empath who's going to help you straighten out your life. And it's like, whoa, maybe I don't want to see the truth. Hey, I don't want to see truth. Let's just call empaths weird. I'm serious. It's one of the biggest cover-ups is snuff out the people who can see what's really going on and make them weird. Oh yeah, but it's a myth anyway. And so you'll see it happen. You'll see an empath stand out in what they're saying, what they're doing, and then other people are going to say, "Oh, that's weird. That's not real." But it's like, well, yeah, we need more people telling the truth and calling out the truth and living the truth and living their best. People don't like empaths because empaths get it. And people don't realize how many lies they live in their life that they tell themselves and how they deceive themselves. And so that's one of the reasons why people, they do that is they just want to snuff them out and just ignore them. Okay, here's another one. Empaths are few and far between. Like, oh, you're such a scarce group of people who have this high ability to be in tune with people. The truth is there are more and more people are tuning into their empath abilities for safety, success, and sanity. Everybody's got the ability to be an empath. You're going to see what empath means here in just a moment. But people are turning to it for safety, success, and sanity. Man, because if you're not activating this side to you, I don't know how you're surviving. It's like you got to be super stressed inside. What? And people, when they see an empath be successful, they're like, that's not possible. And it's like, yeah, empath is about being connected, super connected with people and with life. That's really, you're going to see more definitions here in a moment, but this up here, no. More and more people are emerging going, hey, I can tell what's going on because they're becoming more and more in tune. So I hope you're on the bandwagon for that to happen for you. So you're not, one of those people left behind. Okay, whoops. Here we go. So the next myth is empaths are just overly sensitive people. This one cracks me up because if you're an empath and you don't know how to manage it, you will be an overly sensitive person, anxious, depressed, emotional. You build up and then you break down and blow up. I mean, just like super trigger happy. And this is true for empaths that are not well managed. They're not managing themselves well. They can get out of control and be super sensitive. But let's talk about the truth. The truth is this. Empaths are super connected, super connected to their surroundings. And while they are sensitive, I'm going to use the word sensitive, they are sensing, reading, analyzing, and interpreting all the message, emotions, and behaviors and the data they can. High processors. That's why empaths can be super successful being entrepreneurs if they have their gift and talent under control. If their empath side is out of control, they're going to be broke, miserable, depressed, and overly anxious. But empaths can be super successful because they're so connected to people. That's the thing, is to be able to be connected to people. But if you're an empath that's out of management and not very much in control, you don't want to be around people because you can't control yourself. But I'm going to help you with that today. I'm going to show you what that looks like and what you need to correct to be able to make that work. But let's just look at this one more time. Empaths are super connected to their surroundings. And while they are sensitive, right? I'm using the word, they are sensing, reading, analyzing, and interpreting all the messages, emotions, behaviors, and the data they can. Boy, an empath that is clicked to the on position is off the charts. Super in tune with what's going on. Super in tune. Like, you want to have empaths for friends because they get it. They get what's going on. They pay attention to way more than the common person because they have a high ability to sense information, which I'm going to show you here in just a moment. It's just huge. It's incredible. So if you don't know how to process the information, then empath, you become a sensitive person who's trigger happy because there's too much information and you will implode. Okay, I'll explain later. But I'm trying to just bust some myths here for a second of like what's going on when it comes to people. And so, okay, let's look at this. Signs that you could be an empath. You can sense what other people are feeling. You can sense what caused the feeling. So you're not only what other people are feeling, but you can sense what's going on with the person. You can sense what to do to solve or correct what has happened. You give advice, a lot of it. Can sense how a person's past is affecting their potential. You're excellent at reading body language, or it comes really natural to you. You can understand people quickly, accurately, even better. Whoops, spelling mistake. Hold on. You too can be a trainer. It's a good thing there's spell checker. And even better than the person understands themselves. This is where empaths get misunderstood, because empaths usually are like more accurate about a person than that person's ever been about themselves, ever. And so that's what people get a little weirded out about. Like, wait a minute. No, that's not me. And it's like, yeah, it is. Most people don't even look inside themselves, but an empath is constantly sensing people. Empaths know more about people than they know about themselves. That's so true. It's so true. And yet empaths get pushed to the side like we're woo-woo. And it's like, no, we're on with what's going on. Okay, so what does it mean to be an empath? Let's just go through some terms. Okay, the term empath comes from empathy, which is the ability to understand the experiences and feelings of others outside of your own perspective. So empath comes from a good source: empathy, caring, sensing, being in touch with people. It's not a weird word. It's a good word to have empathy for others. That makes sense, doesn't it? That's simple. And you're going to see how simple this is, but how the world and society sometimes makes this kind of a weird thing, but it's not weird. It's real. So empath, a person with paranormal ability. That one's a little funny. It's like, what? What do you mean paranormal? It's not paranormal. It's normal. It's not paranormal. It's normal. So I don't agree with that word. To apprehend the mental or emotional state of another. Apprehend, okay, the mental or emotional state of another individual. So again, being super chiefly in science fiction. See, this is where it's being made out to be weird, but it's like, hold on. Are all humans empaths? Empathy is the ability most humans have to understand the way someone else is feeling. Unless you are a psychopath, a narcissist, or a sociopath, you will have the ability to feel empathy for others on some level. Do you hear that? Levels. People very high up on the scale are known as empaths, and they take it to the next level. So wait a minute. This is like a dictionary kind of, description. This is like, hello, this is normal for people. But there are some people who are higher up on the scale with this ability, and some are lower, just depending on their intention of using it. And most empaths, they try to squash this because they think it's weird because they're told it's weird. It's not weird. It's real. And it's important. The last thing we need is for us as people to become numb. The last thing we need is to be desensitized. That's the last thing we need, is for empathy to go away. If we lose the ability to understand how someone else feels, we lose human connection. So it makes sense why the evil of the planet would want empaths to be weird and to shut it down, because we can cause connections and we can connect the dots and make sense of things. That's why the evil of the world wants empaths to be seen as weird, and that you should not, show yourself as an empath because you're just not going to be, accepted by society. It's like, whatever. No, this is human. Human. Most humans have this. You're human. I'm human. We got this. And so we need to build our confidence in this so that we use this to be able to connect with people. Sympathy, I know how you feel. Compassion, is there anything I can do to help? Empathy, I feel how you feel. I feel. So empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. That is the capacity to place oneself in another's position. So this is amazing to have this level of ability if you have kids. The capacity to place oneself in another's position. This means like understanding each other. It's like we need help in families, don't we? So that spouses understand each other, so that kids feel like they're understood by their parents or grandparents. So teachers can express this to the students. Bosses can express this to their employees. A person who has a product or service expressing this to the potential client. Empathy is needed everywhere. It's a connection point. And if you are an empath, you are higher on the level of connection. Now imagine this. The more you can connect, the better things go. Because when things are not connected, they fall apart. Your marriage will fall apart. Your family will fall apart. Your business will fall apart. Your sales will fall apart. Your organization's going to fall apart if you shut down empathy. So an empath is somebody who is higher on the level of usage of empathy. So it's like, if you're an empath, you are about connecting. You're about understanding people, helping people, listening to people, helping people find what they're looking for. It's fantastic. It's off the charts. Off the charts. I'm not going to go through everything here. These are just other parts to, and someone who's in a state of empathy, they're going to say things, like you're making total sense. I understand how you feel. You must feel so hopeless. Very in tune to other people. And if you study anything about psychology, that's what life is about, is human-to-human connection. And if you have a business or you're in sales, human-to-human connection improves business. If you don't have human-to-human connection, your business fails. It's really easy. I mean, it just makes sense. Your marriage, your family, your business, your community, your organization needs more people who can have empathy. And so if somebody ever goes to down on an empath, like they're woo-woo, it's like, wow, that person needs some education. Because they're like, if they down on it, it's like you're crushing the human race. It's like, okay, let's don't do that. Okay, empaths are highly in tune to other people's moods, good and bad. They feel everything. Do you see that? Empaths, they feel everything. Sometimes to an extreme. That's where you got to learn how to manage this, right? They take on negativity, such as anger, anxiety, which can be exhausting for them. See, this is where empaths struggle, is they don't know how to manage how much they take on and what they take on. And I'll explain. If they are around peace and love, though, their bodies take these on and flourish. So empaths, they feel everything, sometimes to an extreme. And that's where training, education, how to use this is super important. And that's why I'm reaching out today to say, hey, let me help you, so that you can open up your empath abilities, but not become so overwhelmed. There's a lot of people that are negative, and it can drown you if you don't know how to manage this. Is it rare to be an empath? It is a rare gift, which makes them what they are, empaths. They sense the feelings of others as their own, which makes them great listeners and trouble solvers. How many people do you know in this world who are having troubles? An empath is a trouble solver. What? It's so good. Empaths have one rare trait that makes them even more powerful. These people are experts in human psychology. What? How cool is that? That means like working with your children, with your spouse, with your neighbors, with your organization, your business, your team. Empaths are like designed to be super successful. Seriously, like, hold on, let me show you. I'm going to go back. Let me just go back. Clear back to the beginning. Look at what this says. Empath training. Use your gifts and talents to serve others, solve problems, and create success. Man, I'm here. I'm here to support you so that you know if you're an empath, oh, you can be so successful, whatever you choose to do, because you're all about people. It's all about people, children, spouses, friends. Oh, so good. It's so good. Okay, next. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, empaths are deeply sensitive individuals who are highly attuned to emotions and energy of others. Highly attuned. They can easily take on emotions of others as their own. So if you ever felt like your personality almost continuously attracts those who need guidance and help in your life, you may be an empath. So let me express that and explain that. If you have people come to you and say, hey, can you help me with something? They're probably picking up on the fact you can help them and understand them. And that could be telling you, yeah, you're high on the scale with being an empath because you can help people. You're a trouble solver, right? Okay. Are empaths born or made? Some babies enter the world with more sensitivities than others, an inborn temperament. You can see it when they come out of the womb. They're much, much more responsive to light, smells, touch, movement, temperature, and sound. If you find yourself being sensitive to these things, light, smells, touch, movement, temperature, and sound, these infants seem to be empaths from the start. As an adult, if you are sensitive to light, smells, touch, movement, temperature, and sound, there you go. You got it. You're on that. But you can manage this. You can govern this. That's the thing. Do empaths get angry? Of all the emotions that empaths experience, the most powerful and potentially destructive feeling is anger. Anger can be destructive for everyone, but for an empath, it can be especially potent. This only fuels the anger that an empath is feeling and increases the stress and anxiety. Anger in an empath causes stress and anxiety. You want to know why? Anger shuts down the empath's ability to sense. What? I know. Anger is the worst because it cuts off and shuts down your ability to sense what's going on. And that's your lifeline as an empath, is to feel and connect to what's going on around. So if you slip into anger, you're cutting yourself off. You're cutting yourself off. So as an empath, whoa, you got to add some emotional management processes or techniques to keep you out of the anger zone, keep you way out of the way of anger. Or it's going to cut you off, and then you're going to stress, become anxious, and then all the world's going to blow up, and everybody's going to die. That's what empaths go to, is they go to super stressed, super anxious. So if you're super anxious, here's something to think about. If you're super anxious, you could be an empath who's got anger inside. I know. Hold on. If you're super stressed, now as a mentor, I'm a mentor. When I meet people who are super stressed and are overly anxious, and it's like, whoa, this is way too much for what's really going on. My question I ask them is, hey, do you have anger inside? And they always tell me no. No, I don't. It's like, no, I'm going to poke at this and go, no, I think you're angry. I'm not angry. And I'm not kidding. 9 out of 10 people who show this type of responses, they are an empath with anger backed up inside of them. And then when we start to expose the anger, they're like, I didn't even know this was in here. Because empaths, they don't pay attention to their own emotions. They're paying attention to everybody else's emotions. They're not paying attention to themselves. I don't know if that made sense. Does that make sense? In the chat box, tell me if that made sense. Because this is huge, because you need to stay away from anger. And you're super sensitive to it. If you've got any empath type of tendency to you, anger is like, it's super bad for you. Not just bad, super bad. Super bad. Did that make sense? Type me a comment in the chat box. Some of this stuff, I'm like, how far do I go with this with you? How deep do I go? I'm just going to say it. So you know it. So you can go, wow, I stress a lot and I'm anxious a lot. Okay, you're backed up with anger. And even if you say, oh, no, I'm not. If I was sitting in front of you, I'd say, yes, you are. And we need to dig around and find it and uproot it because it's messing with you. Anger cuts off your empath abilities. You lose connection. And then you feel like everything's going to die and everything's going to blow up. Super, super dramatic. If your spouse is super dramatic about catastrophic things, very, very anxious, very stressed, most likely they're backed up with anger that they can't. It's called a silent anger. They stuff their anger. Okay, I'm taking way too long on this slide, but I'm feeling like I ought to because somebody here needs to hear this, that it's huge. Silent anger is dangerous to an empath because you can't see it, you don't know it's there, and you're cut off from feeling connected. And then you think everybody else is the issue. Your employees are the issue. Your spouse is the issue. Your kids are the issue. And you're trying to run around and fix everybody. But it's your issue is you have silent, hidden anger that's just pouncing on your empath abilities and you don't feel connected. That's why you're so stinking scared. Because of anger. You're not scared because of a lack of things. You're scared because anger has cut down your empath abilities and you're freaking out. Whoa. That just explained a bunch of people out there, didn't it? Man, we ought to we ought to do this more often. I keep going on these things just to help you. So if your spouse is like super freaked out and scared and anxious and just super stressed and you're like, what is going on? It's not that they're scared. It's that they have a big pocket of anger. It's like a big pus bucket inside of them of anger. I think you got it. I've said it like 5 times, but I want to make sure you got this because this is huge. Stay away from anger and find out why you're so angry. What are you angry about? You got to ponder on that one. You really, if your sales are down, and business is down, you need to look at your anger bucket inside of you, your anger pockets. And it's stored in you. Just so you know, you just push it down and go on with your life and act like everything's okay. But anger, it'll cut it off. It'll cut it off. And then you start to freak out. That's the problem. It's not you need to do different marketing. It's that you're angry inside. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. If you got issues with your spouse is irritating you, it's because you're angry and you're not connected and you're not listening and you're not being there. It's you. You need to know you got anger inside. If I could come over to your house right now and have breakfast with you and we sat down and had ourselves a bowl of cereal or some toast and a banana, or maybe we could make a smoothie. Maybe we can make a fruit smoothie. But I would be like, hey, you want stuff to get better? Let's root out. Let's dig out your hidden pockets of anger. What are you angry about? What's made you angry in the past? Because most people don't know how to process anger. But just go look for it. So you get it. It's like, oh man, I am angry. Then you can start forgiving people, forgiving yourself, and rectifying what went wrong, apologizing. Anyway, I know I'm taking a long time on this, but it's a big deal and you need to know about it. Okay, good. Okay, next. Okay, what is a super empath? Whoa, where's my arrow? Hold on, I got to copy an arrow. There we go. Boom, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Arrow. Boom. What is a super empath? 1% to 2% of the population are born with a rare condition. That means that whenever they see someone else being touched, they feel a tactile sensation on their own body. What? Isn't that crazy? That is intense. Oh, that's pretty intense, right? That's like super connected. Wow. Can an empath shut down? When an empath comes across fake people, it is common for them to shut down as a form of protection. This can be seen as a stumbling over words or one's memory or thought process being affected. Anyone who is not emanating truthful vibes will put an empath on high alert. Empaths can feel a fake and sense a fake 100 miles away. They can tell. And the reason why an empath shuts down is because that person might be spewing, this fake person might be spewing lies. And empaths have to control how much they connect to people. Anyway, that's why an empath would shut down. What's a toxic empath? Toxic empathy is when a person over-identifies with someone else's feelings and directly takes them on as their own. There are lots and lots of toxic empaths. They don't know how to govern this, and they take on other people's feelings as their own. They don't know it. This may leave you feeling drained and make you feel like you have no time left to take care of your own problems. Does that match you? This may leave you feeling drained and make you feel like you have no time left to take care of your own problems. Toxic empathy is when you don't just mirror other people's feelings, you absorb them. That's a no-no. But an empath that doesn't know how to manage themselves, guess what they do? They absorb other people's feelings, and then you're a wreck. You're drained, you feel heavy, you feel confused, you feel psychotic. I know this. You feel like, where am I? You feel like you're losing yourself. You feel like you're losing your identity because you're absorbing them. I'm not kidding. I think empaths, I think there's more children right now who are empaths than ever. And children are dealing with this. They're dealing with it. But parents don't know what they're looking at with a child. It's like, what's wrong with you? And they're just lots of mixed up thoughts, and they don't know who they are, and they're very confused about life. And it's like, oh, that child's an empath, and they don't know how to block or protect themselves from other people's stuff. And they automatically over-identify. Wow. Right? It's not that you grow up trying to be a toxic empath, but it happens because of a mismanagement of the gift. And that's the part that my heart goes out to, is like, this is a mismanagement of the gift. Like, he just didn't know. You didn't know. I don't see people trying to hurt themselves with this, but it just happens. Wow, right? That's pretty intense. Good to know, though. Okay, so embrace your weirdness. That's the thing, is we're different. Empaths solve problems. They sense the truth. Empaths see what is really going on. Empaths make fantastic life coaches, teachers, presenters, authors, because we can help. There's so many different fields of influence. Empaths really need to step up and help. The world needs people who have that empath type of ability, so we can find the truth, and we can know the truth, and we can understand each other and solve issues. So I'm calling you to stand up and come forth as an empath and start to practice more what's going on with you and how you sense and feel things around you. Okay, so what does an empath look like? These are, look at, it could be an empath in here. They look like normal people. An empath can be a construction guy or a girl. It can be a husband or a wife, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They can be younger or older. An empath is not limited to age or origin or smarts. Empaths don't have to have a degree in psychology, and they don't have to have a degree in human behavior. They don't have to be smart or be a smarty pants. Empath is a gift. It's a natural ability. But what happens is, if you have the gift, the trait, the ability, and you don't know how to use it, well, that's where that toxic empath experience can come from. And where, if you have anger inside of you, it could shut you down, and you could feel super miserable for no reason. And so I meet a lot of empaths who don't know they're empaths. But then when I hear what they're dealing with, it's like, oh, you're an empath. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, you're super connected and you don't know it and you don't know how to manage this. And then I help them. I help them get straight and I help them get their mind in order and how to protect their space. And that's what I want to do here next is start to teach you some of this so I can show you what's going on. And so what's the difference between a common person and an empath? Is they think different. They're just wired differently. So empaths are capable of making a significant impact in others' lives through service, solving problems, and creating success. But as we've seen, empaths tend to hide their gifts, discount their intuition, drop their standards to fit in with society, become depressed and racked with confusion. Other things that happen with empaths, they tend to deny their insight, then struggle with their own life and relationships, health, finance, spirituality, and motivation. And then the last one, empaths struggle too much. Empaths naturally can be successful up here. Success in what they choose to do. Empaths struggle too much because they just don't know how to do it. They become perfectionists. I find that most perfectionists are actually empaths. They're trying to do everything right to make things work. And that's not how an empath works. Empaths are successful because of connection. It's not because of perfection. It's because of connection. You can have an empath who is barely educated and be very successful being an entrepreneur because they're connected with people and they strive to connect to their surroundings, to the people, to the situations, and they're a trouble solver, natural trouble solver. So empaths just need help, right? And I get it. Man, I've wrestled with myself and others and helping them, and now it makes sense what to do. So let's get into some training on this. Well, first, put in the chat box, are we going the right way for you? Am I going the right way for you here this morning? I want to help you. And you're like, well, I still don't know if I'm an empath. Well, if you are listening, just keep listening. You're going to keep learning. Some of this is going to click. But usually if you are still here at this point, you have some empath tendencies, which is good. That means you're going to make an impact in people's lives and be successful. As long as you get going with it, you can't just sit there. Got to do something, right? Okay, so I've chosen 3 different levels of empaths. And so there are those who don't know they're an empath, so they're in the unknowing stage. And then there's empaths who are just inactive, meaning that they're just like, I don't want to deal with people. And most likely because they're hurt or angry. That's usually the case, is that they're hurt or they're angry. And so then they don't want to connect to people. And so their life is miserable. Miserable. This person's life is confusing. This person's life's miserable. And then you got the active people who are like, yep, I get it. I'm connecting to people. I'm sensing beyond just listening. I'm sensing every which way I can to be connected and understand people. And so, of course, this is where you want to be. But to go from here to there, it takes effort. Just like anything, you want to be better at something, you got to be involved and be intentional. Now, I'm not saying you got to run around and tell everybody, I'm an empath, and stick it on your business card. You don't do that. It's just people today, they don't understand the word. So I don't use that word often, only like here when I'm surrounded by cool people like you. Then I can share the word, but I don't go around telling people like, oh, guess what? I'm an empath. It's like, yeah, I don't even need to say it. It's not something you say. It's something you be. It's not a show-off thing. It's not a parlor trick. You know, it's not Sunday afternoon to gather people around. No. You just do the thing. You serve people. You help them. Work on being super connected. So I'm not saying stand up in church and go, guess what? I found out I'm an empath. You're going to get rejected so fast. And it's like, you don't even have to talk about it. You just go, all right, I get it. I have tendencies to do this and I'm going to get better at it. So you can move from an unknowing or an inactive to becoming active in wanting to understand people and to connect to them. But we're going to go through this and I'm going to show you some more that you need to know on how to do this in a way that will serve you. Now, the levels of ability of an active empath can be low on the scale or it could be high on the scale. So this right here really is about clarity, accuracy, and quantity of information you can gather from people, you can pick up on. But that is based upon your emotional state, your mental state, and your intention. So based upon how well organized you are as a human being, that will control how much of this happens to you when you're interacting with people. If you want to have high clarity when connecting with people, and you want to have high accuracy of interpreting people and get high quantity of information while observing and being around people, then you have to be in a better place. Self-improvement causes life improvement. Self-improvement is always first. Self-improvement creates connection improvement, which then creates life improvement. So self-improvement is always the key to moving up the scale of your accuracy, your clarity, and your quantity. So as I work with empaths, because I'm going to help them become a life coach, or I'm going to help them become an author, or I'm helping them become a presenter or start a nonprofit organization, all empaths, I start the same place. And I start with self-improvement. You've got to manage your emotions. You've got to manage your thoughts, and you got to know what your intention is. What do you do? What's your thing? What are you going to do? And the more clear these three become, then over here on the scale, your clarity, your accuracy, and quantity of information you can gather from people goes up. It's like you can't have a 5 when you're a mess. Oh, but Kirk, I'm a mess and I'm at a 5. No, you're not. I have empaths tell me that all the time. Oh, I'm at a 5. It's like, you don't know what a 5 is. You don't even know what a 5 is if you're going to tell me your emotions and thoughts are out of control. Oh, but Kirk, I'm really good at tuning into people. Yeah, you're a 2. Like, no, I think I'm a 5. I'm like, you don't know what a 5 is. You can't even get there without having some better alignment inside. If you want your business to improve, self-improvement is always first before employee improvements, before marketing improvements. We all know this. If you want your marriage to improve, you have to improve first. If you want your family to improve, you have to improve first. That's just the law. That's the rule. That's the guideline. That's the thing. It's like, you've got to know that if you want any improvement, it starts with self. Then you can start with systems. Then you work with team. Self, systems, team, or self, systems, family. But it's got to go in that order. Self, systems, team. And team could be family, it could be employees, it could be your organization, but there's an order of how to put things in order, and it's got to go from inside outside. True success that lasts starts inside and moves its way to the outside. Tell me you know this is true. Get in the chat box. Tell me you know this is true. Like truth, or yep, I got it, Kirk. But get in the chat box. Tell me you get that. All improvement starts with self, then systems, then team. Because if you try to work on team or your kids or your family all the time without a system, it's going to fall apart. And if you don't change, the system's not going to change. It's not going to happen. It's like, wait, come on. There's a proper order for everything. And you got to follow the order if you want order. And things that are better organized function better, which means there's better results. And so it's self, systems, team, SST, self, systems, team. And if you're struggling in business and you're trying to work on your employees or trying to work on sales, it's like, no, you got to work on self. Then you work on systems. And then you work on team. But people usually do that backwards. Like, oh, something's wrong with our family. I got to fix my kids. Something's wrong in my marriage. I got to fix my husband or my wife. And it's like, you're doing it backwards, because most people try to fix outside world before inside world. Inside means inside you. Outside means outside of you. It's really simple. So self, systems, and team. That's what you got to do. Same thing as an empath. You're not going to get more clarity, accuracy, and that's what we all want. We want clarity and accuracy, and we'd love to have more information so we can make better decisions, but you can't get that if you're a mess. You got to work on self, and I believe in that. That's what I teach. That's what I do. I help people with self, and then systems, and then team. So we got to work on, right? That makes sense. And thanks for your comments in the chat. So yeah, wherever you're at, yeah, there's more. But Kirk, I can't get there. Yeah, you can. It's called cleanup on the inside. It's very doable. But you got to do it. It doesn't just happen by itself. You don't get automatic updates in your brain and your heart. Those are manual updates. And most people are functioning on a 2.0 program, and we ought to be on a 10.0 program. We're not updating our mind and heart and our intentions. So we're in an operating system of 2.0, but the way the world is right now, it's a 10.0, and it's like, no wonder you're falling behind. You're outdated. That's just how it works. So yeah, if you've been striving for accuracy and clarity and you're not getting it, that's an inside job. Okay, I know that makes sense. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with people. So this is going to help wrap your mind around a little bit more about how an empath works. But we got to come from this point first. Information. You see where information is right here? Information. Information is right here. Information is inside people. There's information inside books and on websites and on paper, but information is also inside every human being. That information transmits from us as a person all day long. It transmits. And what I mean by that is it transmits. It goes out all day long. Information doesn't just sit in your head. Information travels from the inside of us to the outside. Information from us travels towards information from others travels towards us. Information is constantly being exchanged. You can't stop this from happening. You can learn how to tune into it. So every day, your information of what you think, what you feel, your mood, your behavior, and your intentions is being transmitted from your being, from your body. And it comes from you every day. Each one of your children transmit their thoughts, their feelings, their moods, their attitudes, their behaviors, their intentions. Your husband, your spouse, your wife, they transmit their information. Everybody's transmitting, but not very many people are receiving. But everybody's transmitting. Everybody's transmitting. So as people are transmitting, there's a few select people called empaths who are listening. So an empath is somebody who is listening. And so this person is transmitting information, and that information is going out, and an empath is listening to that information and paying attention to that information. Now, this empath then can understand this person because they are listening to the information that was sent. Here's the information, and it comes in. Now, this information that is being transmitted, it goes out in multiple ways. Multiple ways. Here's all the multiple ways. So this information comes from a person in the form of words, thoughts, tone of voice, energy or attitude, body language, and behavior. So empaths pick up on multiple streams of information. that every person is broadcasting. Everybody's broadcasting all the time. All the time. Everybody, all the time. And I would have to say 98, 99 out of 100 people don't pay attention to what they're broadcasting. It's not even on their mind. It's not even on their mind. So as an empath, there is lots of information to process from a person. And all of this information that's in here, what happens is it all comes to a point. It all comes together to be information about this person. Now that's one person. What if it was a bunch of people? What if you're in a group of people? This is where an empath can get overwhelmed. When it's like, there's too many people. Empaths have moments where they're like, okay, I need space. Because there's information overload, because there's so many people's information coming in, and they've lost their own information. Like, here's somebody else's information. Here's somebody else's information. And see, their information about themselves is buried. Some empaths don't create borders and boundaries to protect themselves, and they get swarmed with other people's information, and the empath loses their identity because everybody else's information is piled in on top. But empaths, what we do is we pick up on other people's information. Reading body language, that's why it's natural for an empath, because it's just one of those streams of information. It's one of them. We pay so close attention. We notice those nonverbal cues along with everything else. But it's not like you have to try to get information from people. It's flowing from people every day. Now, as an empath, you can learn to tune it down and tune it up. Because remember when I was talking about over here I was talking about clarity, accuracy, and quantity. So I can turn up the amount of information that I'm receiving. Like, let's say I'm in a mentoring or a coaching appointment. Man, I crank it way up, 100%. I'm tuning into somebody, 100%, because I want to catch everything. But then if I'm in a group of people and I'm like, no, I don't want to pay attention to all these people, I'm going to tune it all the way down. So you have a throttle or a more or less type of slide or button in you. Now, if this is making sense to you, because I'm saying things I usually don't say when I teach this, I'm kind of stretching a little bit further than normal. Is this still making sense to you? So I need you to make a comment in the chat box and tell me if this makes sense. Yes? No? Yes? I hope it does, because this is super good to know what you're tuning into, right? Because you could learn about each one of these so you can see it more clearly. But you got to remember, though, you got to go back here and go, if you want clarity, it's a self-improvement first. So to activate your empath abilities to a higher level, you got to do some self-improvement. And that's the last thing on an empath's mind. An empath wants to serve, not work on self. That seems selfish. And empaths always say that. They're like, I can't work on myself. I need to go help people. It's like, no, you need to work on yourself so you can crank up your accuracy and your clarity so you can be more on with people. So you can be a fantastic parent, a fantastic spouse, a fantastic leader, a fantastic salesperson, a business owner, whatever you are, you can be more on. But you got to have some self-improvement, right? To be able to increase this. So this is what's coming at you as an empath. It looks like a bunch of sharp arrows, doesn't it? It's kind of brutal looking, but it's a lot of information. And so when you're around a lot of people and you're at 100%, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get overwhelmed and you will shut down. If all your kids want your attention and your spouse and your friends, and you're like, I'm reaching my breaking point. That's why you're reaching your breaking point. because it's too much information coming in. So you don't know how to govern that. Govern that and be able to go, okay, I'm going to crank this down to 10%. I'm only going to let 10% in or 0%. Or no, it's a moment I need to have 100% open. But just right now, write a note in your notes. Govern the amount that's coming in by giving yourself an option of percentages. Okay, I'm open for 50%. Let me just say this. Here's an example. Let's say you're a salesperson or you're an entrepreneur and you have something you offer for sale. You could have your amount of what's coming in, you could have this turned off to 0 because you're mad about something or you're hurt. And so you could still be talking to people, but you're not in tune to people. It's two different things. And so then you don't have sales. Because yeah, you can talk to people, but you're not really in tune to them because you're mad, you're upset, you're hurt, you're angry about something. And so your empath abilities are shut down. So I know lots of empaths that I've met in my life who are trying to get their organization, their business, their whatever they're doing going, their family, whatever it is going, and they can't. And it's because they've shut down to 0% allowed to come in. They've closed off. And I'm like, you're closed off. You're not going to make a sale. If you do, you're lucky. And the person like, oh, I'm going to sell something. Watch this. And then they don't. And they're like, okay, what's wrong with me? I said, I told you, you're angry. I'm not angry. Yes, you are. You've turned people off. You've cranked it to 0. And people can tell. They can feel it. See, you could be at 0%, and that's why you have issues with your spouse. That's why you have issues with your kids, because you're at 0. You think you're at 100, but you don't know how this works. And so that's why I'm here to open your mind to go, no, there's some of this you don't know how it works. And so you probably are shut down. If your sales are down, if you're having issues with your spouse or issues with your kids or issues with your team or issues with your employees or issues with your organization, you are shut down because you're hurt, you're angry. And remember, empath ability gets cut off and now you're out of touch. You're out of touch, not them. If you want to fix something, it starts with self. Then you look at systems, then you look at team. So other people are third, not first. It's you. You got to check in. What percentage are you at? So shutting down to 0 can be a way to recover, reboost, heal, rest, because empaths need to rest because we process a lot of information. And we gotta have times that we do shut down to 0. But if you're stuck at 0 and you didn't want it to be at 0 and your results are saying you're at 0, that's why you're at 0 with sales. That's why you're at 0 with being intimate with your spouse. That's why you're at 0 with your connection to your kids, because you're at 0, not them. You never blame the other person. To fix something, you start with self, then systems, then team. That's what you do. And so that's a tough one because there's so much information coming in. You could have got overloaded and turned it off. But anyway, I'm giving you the insight. You govern what comes in. 10%, 20%. So Kirk, how do you do that? You choose. You train your brain. I only want 50% to come in today. Or I want 100%. Or hey, I need to be at 0%. And you need to train your brain to govern that field of energy around you so that when this information comes in, it either comes just right to the edge and it stops, or it comes all the way in. But you decide. And that's something you got to practice governing. It's like you have to govern how much food you stick in your mouth. You get to govern how much information comes in your space. And when you're full, you say, I'm done. Just like with food, you go, okay, and you push away the plate. You don't want any more. That's a choice to not receive anymore. But the empath needs to do the same thing. Is when you are full, you need to say, I'm done. And you need to turn it off by saying, I'm at 0. Please stop all incoming information. I need a break. But you need to install that and be able to govern that by making a choice and then making the choice happen. And that's, you use visualization for that. Empaths are fantastic at visualization, but they struggle with it at the beginning because we need to visualize the information coming to us or not coming to us. Use visualization. You see how I'm using diagrams? You need to practice using diagrams of this is what it looks like when I'm at 100%, all this information comes in, and then this is what it looks like when there's no information, nothing comes in. So you have a visual you hold in your mind to retrain your brain how to govern your outside space. That's what you do. You use visualization to govern your space and to govern the incoming and to govern the quantity that's coming to you. Wow. I just said a lot. You still with me? Tell me if you're still with me. You still with me? Just give me a heads up. I'm still with you, or you lost me, Kirk. So I hope I didn't lose you. But this is what's happening. All this information's coming to you. And that's what an empath does, is they pick up on this information that everybody's transmitting all the time. It's all the time, all the time, all the time. And yep, every person's giving off information. You get to practice governing from 0 to 100%. But remember, if you're at a 0 for results, you're probably stuck in 0 with the input. And that can cause a lot of problems. And it's because you're angry, you're upset on the inside. And that you want to go find. So every empath wants to feel like they're open. Yeah, I'm open. Look at me. I'm open to receive. Everybody is an empath is like, yeah, I'm always open. But the truth of it is, you most likely are sitting here with signs of closed, being closed. And do not enter, closed for cleaning, closed for renovation. Sorry, we're closed, but still awesome. So it could be you might have closed signs. And that's why you struggle with relationships, with money, with time, with people, with teams, because you're just unplugged. You're unplugged. You're out of tune with what's going on. And that if you're miserable, this is what's happening. You're on 0 input. You're on 0. You think you're open, but your results show you're not. That's the reality you need to take a bite of and go, if your results say you're struggling because you have marital issues, child issues, money issues, time issues, that's telling you you're shut down. That's what it's telling you. If you're not having things happen for you, you're shut down. You're acting like, oh, I'm open. And that's a deception. You didn't know it, but you were deceived, because if you're open, you're connected. And if you're connected, you got people all over the place. You got all kinds of people to work with, to help, to serve, to involve, to delegate to, and people are around you and they want to talk to you and they want to be with you. But if you've turned it off, you're at 0. And that's a reality you got to take a bite of and go, my results are showing I'm not connected. If you're a salesperson and you can't close the deal, you got all this smacked around you. And because you're mad. You're mad. You're mad about stuff. Somebody hurt you. You're upset. You can't shove that down inside and think it's going to stay there. It's not going to work for you. And I'm here today to say that's what your problem is. And so you get to find the mad and you get to reconcile the mad. You get to do that. Crazy, huh? Okay, so that's what's happening. Every person gives off information. Us as empaths, we're here to listen. We're going to listen. And all kinds of information to tune into. And then what do you do with that information? Well, you could use that information and manipulate people and control people and ruin people, but that's not nice. It's like, that's not cool. That's not cool. You'd be responsible with this information. You could be reckless. That's always an option, but I'll tell you, after you die, you'll end up in hell. I mean, let's just tell the end game. If you are reckless with other people's information, you may get away with it in this life, but we all die, and the devil's going to have your soul if you mess with people's information. You might get away with it on earth for a while, but after you die, there's a big sorting. And people who are responsible with other people's information are going to be in a good place after we all die. And people who are reckless with people's information, I'm telling you, it's fire and brimstone. You're going to be a cooked goose. You're going to be cooked. It's hot down there. You're going to be toast, burnt toast, or you could be up here where it's like super cool sunsets, sunrises, and when you go fishing, you always catch a big fish. So choose to be responsible. Yes, you can be wicked, but you'll end up in hell. So don't do it. And don't try to do the thing of being reckless and then in the end turn out to be a good person. That's not cool. Okay, so with people's information, use this information to understand them, help them, serve them, empower them, and problem solve with them. Most people don't know how to fix their lives. Empaths know how to help people fix their lives. That's why empaths make great coaches, presenters, entrepreneurs, teachers, leaders, managers, parents. Just goes on because we can understand people. And we help them, we serve, we empower, and we problem solve with them. And the reason why I keep saying problem solve is because we can see beyond the surface of what the real issue is. And we can do good things with that kind of ability. And down here, yeah, you could make a lot of money, taking advantage of people unfairly. You could manipulate people. You could, but you're going to go to hell. So don't go to hell. That's not good for you. It's not good. I don't want to be looking down there and then see you getting cooked. It's like, that's not cool. So this is not an option, but some people take that option. And just so you're aware, some empaths are reckless. I'm super sensitive to reckless empaths who are using their gift to manipulate. And it's like, no, it's another reason why I want to strengthen my empath gifts is so I can catch the manipulators. I don't like being manipulated. No. It's already happened enough times in my life to go, not again. I'm not going to be tricked and manipulated. No. So that's another reason why I want to be good at this is so I can catch this kind of junk happening and cut it off. Protect my family, protect my marriage, protect my kids, protect my business. It's like, I'm going to pay attention to that. And when I'm sensing one of these, ooh, man, I'm 100% open, sensing, checking in, seeing if this person is unfair. It's not cool. And if they are, it's like, boom, done, cut them off, done forever. Yeah, love them, but leave them, right? Okay, anyway, information, be responsible. I don't think I have to have this conversation with you, but I do, because some people, they start to learn about people's information about who they are, and you can get tempted. The devil's on your shoulder trying to tempt you to manipulate people. Don't do it. Use the information to help serve. I'm going to go clear back to the beginning. Use your gifts and talents to serve others, solve problems, and create success for them, for you, for the organization, for people, for the family. I mean, do a good job, right? It makes sense. So as an empath, something to pay attention to is when you are in good space in your head and heart, then the space between you and other people is positively charged. And you can pick up and learn information from people all the time. But when the space inside you is negatively charged on your heart or on your mind, that negative charge will creep in to your language and your ability to see. And so it can taint you and it can mess with you. So to be a great empath, self-improvement, system improvement, team improvement. So you want to get better? Don't try to fix people, work on yourself. And now you just help the whole human race. So that's a simple way to just show that it creeps in, and it's important to be positively charged with good intentions about what you're doing when you serve people. So it makes sense, right? Good. Okay. A couple more things here, if I may. Is that okay? I just want to keep going here. Okay, so let's see. Where's my screenshot I was at? Okay, did I do this one? Oh, anyway, this is how an empath shuts themselves down. They discount themselves. They see themselves as weird. They try to turn it off, attempt to make it go away, hide their talent. No support, no instruction. You think everyone's just like you. You're not. It's not. You are different. You are completely different than the common person. You have a gift that is higher on the scale that can be of great benefit to everyone in your life. You get to get better at it, right? You get to work at it and get better at it, but it's something that you can work on. It's not something that you're just sitting there. You can practice this. You're learning how to work through the negative to get to the positive, just like everybody else. But you're working on this so that you can be more in tune and be more accurate in how you're connecting with people. And so as you are being an empath, something that's important, I believe, for you to know is that empaths struggle with money. So if you happen to be struggling with money and you're an empath, it makes sense to me. I totally get it. It's a big deal. I'm not kidding. Money is just a weird thing to an empath. Until you get it figured out, you're going to struggle going for money or having money goals. So if you're thinking about money, it messes with your empath abilities. If you're thinking about sales or receiving money or asking for money or trying to manage money, as an empath, it actually can shut you down. Money is it's this thing that it's not human. And you're, as an empath, trying to connect to something that is a piece of paper. It's got a lot of stories about it, a lot of mixed up interpretation about what it is. And so if you're an empath, it would make sense. Every empath I meet, I go, so how you doing with money? Because that's a very big concern for me as I coach people, is like, I want to help you reverse your design inside your head to repel money. Empaths have a tendency to repel it and make it go away. And that's not good for anybody. Whatever the currency is, if it's cocoa beans, shovels, or money, whatever the currency is, empaths have a tendency to push it away or repel it. And I know why they do it, because it's not human. And it's supposed to have this high value, but it messes with an empath's head, because the most important thing to an empath is to serve people. But an empath who thinks about money too much in the wrong context actually pushes money away and pushes people away. And then this empath ends up being miserable. And it's like, what? So one of my specialties is to help people who are empaths reverse this. So instead of a repelling process that it goes on, because if you're an empath and you're struggling with money, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? And just in the chat box, just tell me, I know it, Kirk. Just give me the heads up that you get what I'm talking about. Is you can work all day long and try everything and try so many different jobs, so many different entrepreneurial things, and it doesn't work. It's like, what's going on? How come I can't make this work? And then you got to try to explain it to your family and explain it to your friends and your spouse or your boss. And you're trying to be a salesperson or build a team. And you're like, what's wrong with me? It's because you're repelling it. You're not wired to attract money. So I'm going to give you a beginning step. I can't go through all the steps right now, but I can give you a step that will begin the process. But if you ever decided to step into full-on training with me, if you ever decided to step into full-on training, just so you know, this is a very important topic for me to teach you about. Very important topic of how to establish a wonderful connection between you and money. Okay, so that's important. I'm not trying to turn you into a money monster, but I would like you to be able to pay your bills and buy groceries and buy 3 months of groceries. So you've got plenty of food and that you're caught up on your bills and you got some money that you're saving and that you can rely on in case your car breaks down and you can go do something fun. Empaths are here to serve and be successful, but they really glitch on money, really glitch on it. And it's just because that's the way it's designed inside of our heads. So I had to fix me first. That's the thing, is I had to fix me first. And the fixing of Kirk Duncan, that was a project, but I fixed me. I did. Self-improvement. It's like, what is my deal with this thing? So here's the success direction I'm going to give you. It's not the whole thing, but I'm going to give you this. Look at this arrangement. That's the arrangement. If you think about money first as an empath, in your mind, it gets put in this order. And an empath who thinks money, sales, bills, paycheck, house payment, car payment, dentist bill, if you think this and you're an empath and money and bills and what you owe and what you need and how much you wish you had is first, you are going to have a counter attack of your thoughts. And it's going to just boom, it's going to just kick it out. Like, this is not what we do. And it will just shove it out of your life. And every dollar you get, you notice how fast it goes away. I know this. I know this. I know this. So true. So true. So it's like empaths are designed to be successful. But what happens is if we do the thought process in the wrong order, it rejects money, and then it makes us feel like something's wrong with us. And then now we feel like something's wrong. We reject people. And then now we're miserable. We're a broke empath. Poor, broke, broken down, feeling like something's wrong with us. We can be super connected, but we're not. And then we get mad at ourselves. Uh-oh. And we get angry. Uh-oh. Boom. And then empath ability is shut down. And now our whole world crashes. And then our spouse always asks us, are you okay? Is everything okay? And so if you're an empath and you're attempting to serve people, and you're going to be an author, a presenter, a coach, a teacher, a parent, whatever you're doing, I highly suggest putting people before money. But Kirk, I got to pay my bills. No. No, you put people as your main focus, not people to give you money. No. People. You serve people. This is what you are thinking about all the time. But you're going to find out this creeps up into being the front. Like, oh, if I help this person, then I can make some money. No, that's just throwing money right in there. And then boom, the people, the money. And you're broke, you're miserable, you feel something's wrong with you, and you're going to go try to start another business because you know you need to serve and you want to change people's lives, but you can't because you got to take on this job because you can't make a living being an entrepreneur, doing what you want to do. You get it. Tell me you get this. You get that I get you, don't you? Like, I get it. I get it. But you've got to realize you got money on the brain. And if you worry about bills more than you worry about people, then you're all about money. And you're not designed to think that way. If you have a vision board, if you have money on your vision board and money is above where people goals are, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's got to be people above money. People are first. How many people are you going to help? And what are you going to help them do? What are you going to help these people do? That's got to be the worry. What are you going to help people do? What are you going to help them solve? And when you click in, now again, I'm telling you, this is the beginning stages of helping you switch what's going on in your head. But I think this is a really good step, is that you start to manage the order of these. If I was your sales manager and you were struggling with sales, I would say, okay, all right. Number one, you're not connecting to people. Number two, you got money on the brain. Well, I'm always thinking about it. I got to put gas in my car. And I'm going to say, that's got to be second. I can't do that. Yes, you can. It's got to be way over here. Not long far away, but it's got to be back here. So it's not the main thing on your head. Empaths who are successful get blamed for not thinking about money, but they're successful. They're successful. It's like the money will be there. It's just that shows up because people are the stewards of money. It'll be there. But what we do as an empath, we got to serve. We got to help at the best level possible. Not with this on our brain or looking at people as, oh, I just got to work with people so I can make money. That will mess you up, and already has. When you turn and you put people first, you're going to see when you need to ask them, or you have something to offer, or you're going to manage, or you're in the place of receiving money, you're going to find it's very comfortable, very natural, because you have your priorities straight. You have them straight. Now, it has to be on your thoughts, but it has to be a solid second or third. Now, this is where some people go, oh, you're leaving God out. All right, so hold on. Let's put God up here. So, okay, so God's first. Just so you know, I'm not going to leave out God, because I don't want somebody emailing my office saying Kirk's leaving out God and everything he does. It's like, no. So this is a cloud. Hold on. Let me just make the cloud, and there's God. Okay, God's in the clouds and he's watching. Okay, so there, we got God. Okay, so let's put money as third. So we got God first, people second, money third. Keep them in order in your head. But if you're like, okay, I don't need to do this, it's like, okay, all right, you don't have to do that. Well, but do this. Don't do this, because if you do this, you're going to be messed up. Tell me you got it. This is a good spot to start, right? Straighten things out so you can get your head wrapped around this. Kirk, but you got to check in every day and make sure that you've got things in order. Because where your head goes is where your gift goes. And if your head goes down, then your gift goes down. If your head gets all messy, then your gift gets messy. When your head is clear, then your gift is clear. Then you serve people, and when you serve people, it causes things to go out of balance, and then now it has to be tipped back. And so one of the ways to balance the service is to exchange this. That's one of the ways. It's not the only way, but it's one of the ways. But it can't be the number one thing on your mind. It can be number three, but not number one. Tell me you got it, right? It makes so much sense, doesn't it? Okay, one last tip here is this one right here. And then I'm going to pull this all together for you and show you this. Now, empaths have a tendency. Now, let me show you this right here. You guys are like watching all my little straightening out of things here. It's my storyboard, right? Empaths have a tendency, they think that they are teaching people and helping people with simple, shallow things. That's what they sense. That's what they sense. That's what they think. That's what they believe. And what's happening is, truthfully, empaths have a tendency to throw people in the deep end. And the people are like, what is this? I don't get this. And people freak out, and then they want to run away. But as an empath, you're like used to swimming in the deep end with information and understanding. And you're like, oh, I love the deep end. Yeah, shallow end. I love the deep end. Empaths love the deep end. But that's not good for the common folk who are trying to solve things in life. And if you're like, hey, let's solve your problem. Oh, okay. Hey, jump in. And they're like, what? And you could drown people with the level of understanding you understand. People are not ready for the deep end. And you got to remember, you swim in the deep end, and these people are like, I'm not going to listen to you and your weird advice because it's too deep. As an empath, if you speak too deep, you will have less friends and you'll be labeled as a weirdo because the only time you ever talk is when you want to talk about the deep stuff. Like you want to do deep dives. Ooh, let's do deep dives. And they're over here going, what are you in? So as an empath, super important, you get that if you're going to share with people, you stay in the shallow end. And I know you're going to be like, oh, but I just have to tell them deep. And it's like, if you drag them out there, they're not going to have a footing and they're going to drown and they're going to go away from you. Yeah, as empaths, we have deep understanding about things, people, money, time management, relationships. We have deep understanding. We get how things work. But as you go to swim in the deep end, remember that the other 98% of people, they're over here, and respect where they're at and be okay starting in the shallow end. Be okay starting there. And you're not doing this person a disservice. You're actually doing them the best service possible because you're not drowning them. A drowning person leaves the pool. They don't want to play in that anymore. It was dangerous. So don't freak people out with all your deep thinking. You get to manage yourself. You get to control the content that you share. And if somebody else wants to have more content, well, they can follow you out there if they want. They can get into a class or a special program, or you could write a manual or do, a consulting with them. But when you're speaking to the masses and you're speaking to friends and family, don't throw them in the deep end. They're going to reject you. And then you lose the connection. And you can tell me all day long, they just don't understand. And I'm going to tell you, you're immature and disrespectful. You don't drag people into the deep end when they're not ready for it. Don't do it. Don't be immature. Don't be disrespectful. Yes, you have deep understanding, but no, you don't drag everybody out there. They can't handle it. And it's okay. It's not anything against them. Everybody gets to take it a little bit at a time. But please don't be the type of empath that just jumps on social media and spews deep understanding. And then when people question you and say you're weird, and then you throw a fit about it, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't disrespect the empath community. Don't disrespect it, and don't throw stuff out there and disgrace what all of us are attempting to do by serve and help people. You don't need to show off. You don't need to promote you're an empath. You need to serve people. That's what you need to do. Pick a way to serve. Write a book, get a YouTube channel, do webinars, do videos, write manuals, be a coach, be a presenter, be a teacher, volunteer, but get out there and share. Quit hiding and get out there and share. Do something. And if you're doing it and you're like, but Kirk, I'm struggling, well, then get training on how to get yourself in order as an empath. I'm an empath. I can help you. I can help you with your money issues and your people issues and your inability to manage the incoming information to you, or how to organize all the ideas and inspiration coming to you. But please, 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 you don't need to show off or try to have some entitlement about dragging people out in the deep end and watching them struggle and then look at me, I'm smart. These other people can't handle it. No, that's pride and that's manipulation, and you don't do that. If you've done it, I forgive you, but quit it. Stop. Don't be immature and don't be irresponsible with that. Honor where the person is at and only go that far. And give them a hint of something else you could talk about. And if they don't want to go there, they don't go there. Tell me you got that. Post a comment here in the chat box and tell me you got it. You got it? Okay. Please. Because I don't want empath to be something that's out there being disgraced, because we need people to embrace this and get actively engaged in a good cause and serve people, right? That's what we got to do. People need help. Couples need help. Families need help. Businesses need help. Every type of person and organization out there needs help right now, and we can help them. And you've probably been feeling it, you know, like you can help. You can make a difference. You totally can. Okay, let's pull this together. Okay, to activate your gift, consciously tune into others. Truly listen, but you're practicing connecting, right? Number 2, clear your space, meaning your anger, all your self-doubts. Get your advice organized. Whatever you keep saying to people over and over again, maybe that needs to be a book. Maybe it needs to be a video. Maybe you need to do a webinar and teach people. But get your advice organized so that you can really impact people. And then number 4, come from service. You're serving people. You're not fixing and you're not saving. There's another savior to save people. You're not the savior. You're there to serve, help them problem solve, help them understand themselves. And open your mouth and say something. Get out there and help. Get out there and help. Do something about it. Because you'll find as an empath, when you're serving people, you are the happiest. And you become super, super in tune, right? Okay, so here's the urgent corrections. Stop thinking something is wrong with you and use your gift to serve others. I rehashed that probably 5-6 times, right? It's not something wrong with you. It's just something that needs to be managed. Number 2, learn how to govern your own personal space, 0 to 100%. You're like, what's coming in? To not get overloaded with others' information, or with all the negativity going on in the world, it could crush you. And number 3, start trusting your intuition about people. Trust it. Stop second guessing yourself. Act on that intuition and then learn from the outcome. You got to act and then learn from the outcome, right? You got to get away from that perfectionist thing. And number 4, follow the impressions. You keep going. The one that says to go help others and make a difference for them. You most likely are getting prompted to serve people. If you are, post a note or post me a comment in the chat box and just say, yeah, I'm serving people, or I'm feeling like I need to go serve people. Just post me a comment and tell me where you're at. Are you already doing this, or you're feeling like you need to go do this, right? But urgent corrections, I've talked about these throughout the training here this morning. But here's the thing. You can be a coach. You can be a person who makes a difference. And I know I'm using the word teach and coach, and you're like, but I'm not certified. It's like, you don't need to be certified to do this kind of stuff. You need to just do it. I'm not certified. I'm just helping people. Every which way I know how, I'm helping, because people are up against a wall. They're stuck, and people are becoming more and more stuck at the wall because they don't know what their problems are, and they can't see inside of themselves what it is that needs to change. And so that's why you and we get to help people. They're trying to get from where they're at to where they want to go, and it's just literally a mess in how they're getting there. It's like they're all over the place. But you as an empath, you can get to a place where you literally are organized and you can help people go step by step. And if you don't know how to do that, I could help you with that. I train people to be coaches, train people to become presenters, help them become better teachers, better parents. And of course, I know how to train people to do that. I've been doing that for years. But you could be like this when you talk to people and help people organize their life like this, where they're like, this is a miserable person. It looks like an adventure, but it's costly. That's a do-it-yourselfer right there, right? And so what we're looking at here is we're looking at, what do you do? You know, the main part from here is like, okay, your main part is to move forward, create a system, organize yourself into a system that you literally could teach people, help them set a goal, help teach them, help them understand how to set themselves up for success. A lot of empaths are very, intuitive, but they're not very organized. And you might be that way too. You might be that way where you're like, okay, yeah, you got me, Kirk. I'm very intuitive, but I don't know what to teach people or how to teach people. And so I like to find those people who are very, very intentional and that they want to serve. They want to help. They want to make a difference. And they're called an influencer. That's what they do. They help other people accelerate their accomplishments. We influence people to do better because we can take our gift and help them, and then that influences them to take a step. And you very well are an influencer. You're somebody who can move people. And if you can move people, then get into the realm of serving people. And you can move people one by one or groups or lots of people or globally. Like I said, I teach people all over the world. You could be doing the same thing. We hook you up with a YouTube channel and you get talking. You can have people from all over the world saying thank you for what is in your head. And if you're called to this kind of work, or you've been trying to do this kind of work, and it's like, oh, Kirk, it's so hard. Well, you're probably blocked. You're probably all gummed up inside, or you got some backwards thinking that you don't understand. And that's where I can help. I know it's like, you might look at this and go, wait a minute, I can't even fix myself, Kirk. Your gift is to serve others. I can train you on how to do self-improvement, and I know exactly where to spend the time inside your head to get you organized so that your clarity and accuracy can go up. And even though you're, like, oh, my own family, this and that, well, when you work on self, that gets better as you serve others better. You're the center. You're the center of your world and it's of your galaxy. So it's like, it makes sense. You need to get better. And so when we work on you to serve people better, guess what? Family gets better. Finances get better because we're helping you get organized. So if you're that kind of person who's like an influencer and you're like, yeah, I want to do this. I'm feeling the call to do that. Well, then that's something you take a step on. Like you take an action step. You do something about it. And if what I've shared with you here is like, yeah, this makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, you have a gift to serve others. You can learn how to do this. You can take care of yourself. You can help other people, help them solve their problems. You can help others do better and feel better, which is super rewarding. And maybe God's calling you to the work like you need to make an impact, do something. And I think you're hiding. I think you're hiding as an empath. Or I think you're holding back. You're either hiding or holding back. And yeah, you might be working really hard at this, if you are working at this to influence people, but you just don't know what to adjust. So if you're hiding, holding back, or you're just in this place of like, what do I do? Man, you're in a good spot. I mean, you're in a good place right now to be listening to me, to be hearing me, because this is my mission, is to support you to live your mission. Now, I'm going to flip clear back to the beginning, right? That's what I said in the very beginning right here. Our mission is teach each person how to activate their mind, manage their emotions, and fulfill their mission. Look at that. Activate their mind so their gifts and talents work. Manage their emotions so they don't gum you up and block you. And you fulfill your life mission. Can't wait very much longer to fulfill your life mission. The world's getting weird, and the urgency for you to get into your mission is now. It's not, oh, I'll start this next year. No, this is like, you got to get started. You know it. You're feeling it. I totally get it. You know that you know it, and it's time to get after it. This is what I do. I help people fulfill their mission in life. And your mission is to serve people in a way that's big. And I know you've tried to minimize it, make it smaller, like, no, that's not me. Oh, that's not me. And it's like, no, it is you. With a microphone, a laptop, and the internet, you can impact people in other countries, other parents, other people, all over your community, all over the country, all over the world. You just need help getting organized in how to do this, but in a really, really professional way. So that's what I do, is I help people fulfill their mission. And no matter what job you're in right now or what career you're in, I honor that. But I'm going to say to you right now, there is a bigger purpose in serving people, to get into the people world and serve people, teach people, help them understand themselves, because your gift can help other people. And yeah, you're helping people with what you currently do, but whoa, hold on, man. Hold on. There's ways to serve people in a gigantic way. And I'm on the front lines every day, and I see what's happening, and I see the battle, and I'm coming to you right now and telling you, you got to get to the front lines. Get to the front lines where you belong. Quit hiding back there behind the rock, behind the bushes. Quit hiding behind your excuses and your confusion, and step up. Step up. Help. And all the problems you're wallowing in your own personal life are because you're not helping. Because you're not activating the gift is why you're miserable. You don't fix your misery and then go help people. You go help people to fix your misery, because your gift isn't working. It's not being used, and you feel the guilt inside. You feel the guilt. You know it. You're not doing what you're called to do. Get going. So I help influencers fine-tune their content, people skills, and quality of their program so they can serve more people while earning lots of money and doing what they love. The money flows when you serve people. And when you help more people, it flows. I don't do this for the money. I do this for the people. And my needs are taken care of. And I get to keep doing this every day. Sundays, I go to church, so not on Sundays. And sometimes on Saturdays, I go fishing. But the rest of the time, I love what I do. And if this even fits your design, even the slightest, and you're like, but I don't know how to do this, it's okay. I can help you. It's not like it's second nature to me how to do this, and I can teach you how to do this. And so that's why I invite you. I invite you to move from feeling uncoordinated, feeling awkward, feeling unbalanced, feeling inexperienced, feeling uncertain about how to serve people in such a capacity, to be able to be in a place of being coordinated, being able to move forward, feel balanced, be experienced, and have certainty about your life, knowing every day when you wake up, you know what you're doing. You're on. You know your purpose in life is to serve people. And in whatever way, an author, a presenter, a coach, a parent, a manager, a business owner, whatever it is, it's okay, whatever part that is. But I love helping people. I love changing people's lives. I love helping them get activated from where they were to where they are right now. It's like, here's Vicky. I don't know if anybody's ever met Vicky, but she's just a gem. She is an angel. And just, I thank heaven for who she is, because she has the fire in her belly to serve people. She does. And you got to look her up and read her book. She's fantastic. I'm now published author, guest speaker on podcasts, presenter at live events. Currently have 68 students that I train in a 12-week mentoring program. All this possible because of skill set, mindset, and incredible tools. That's what we do. We help you. I help you get organized so you can live your mission, serving people. And we can always do random acts of kindness. But instead of random, what if you were super intentional? What if it was time to make it work? What if it was, and I know you just woke up and you barely had your breakfast and you're like, whoa, Kirk, where are we going with this? What are we doing? But I can't end this without putting a little bit of fire in your belly of like, you're like me. And it's bigger than you think. And you know it. Yes, you have empath abilities, and then there's to be used to serve people. And you don't need smarts to make a big impact. You just need to know what to do. You just need to know what to do. And God definitely has taught me that. It's just like, use your gift and help people. Help people. Right now, more than ever, we need voices like yours. We need people who are here to coach, to mentor, inspire, and to lead. There's not enough mentors, coaches, presenters, authors. There's not enough. If there were, then we'd be solving problems. But I'm going to tell you right now, what we need people who have the empath type of abilities to talk to people and solve problems in a dialogue. Books are great, videos are great, but we need dialogue to work with people. And I can train you how to do that at a very high level, in a place that you would be super tickled and super happy with your skills. And I really believe that people are waiting to hear from you. If you don't believe it, okay, but I believe it. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this mean? What this means is it's time for you to stretch. Increase your range of movements so you're more agile, flexible, capable, and open. The more mentally limber you are, the less delay you will experience. Also, the more capable you are to adapt. I'm going to ask you to stretch. And what that means is I'm going to ask you to stretch in a way that you take a risk on yourself. And the risk is to believe that you're meant to serve people in a big way. And so I am looking for influencers. I want to work with influencers. I want to help them become fantastic, skilled, boost their ability in a huge way. And I want to support these influencers to fulfill their mission, to make a difference, and to quit hiding, quit being confused, and really exercise the empath ability to make a difference in other people's lives. But I know what you need. You need some help. And you need help on, what do you say? Content. Maybe you do this online. Maybe you need help in being organized and have more of a structure in how you would teach people how to have conversations with people. What mistakes do you avoid? How do you tell people what you do? You know, what if you were a life coach? What if you got into this? What if you were a mentor? What if you were a personal development trainer? And you're like, I don't know what to teach. It's okay. It's okay. I can help you. I can help you. I can show you how to do this and organize it so that you feel like you're actually building something that's going to work and serve other people. So what this is my mastermind. And this mastermind of mine is a group of people who are influencers, who are getting organized, making a difference, and really pouring it on to be able to get their message out there to help people. And the influencers are being called upon. They're being stirred. They're being prompted of what to do. So this is what you do. What you do, if this even interests you, what you do is you are going to go to this link right here and book a call. So go to this link, 3ke.2/book a call. And when you go to this link, 3ke.2/book a call, it's going to take you to a calendar. And this is what the site looks like. It's going to take you to a calendar. And then you will see the open dates. And then if these dates are filled, click the arrow and it'll take you to next month. And it will show you the open appointment slots. And let's talk. Is this your calling? Let's find out if this is really what you ought to be doing. And if I can serve you and help you. And so it's like an interview. It's like, what are you doing? This is what I do. This is what you do. And if it's a match, then we work together. And I share with you, I train you. My 17 years of experience comes to you. And it can make a huge difference. Because really what we're doing is you're getting your act together. You're taking action, serve others, not putting it off anymore. Now you're not putting it off anymore. It's like, let's get you going. Other people are having success. It's working. It's your turn. So when it's your turn, you get to step in and stretch right now and go, all right, I'll book a call. And then we'll chat. Let's talk about it. But we're going to be talking about this, about where you're going, what you're doing, and maybe I could support you. But it's got to be a fit. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. Okay, it's not a fit. I'm not going to have you in my mastermind and you not be a fit because you are still, way out there and you're just not in it. You're not committed. Because if you're not committed, don't do this. Don't book a call. But if you're like, I really got to do this, Kirk, and I really want support and I want to learn this from the inside out and help me with my money issues, I can help you. I fixed my money issues and now it's your turn. let's like get that changed, right? And so you can serve people in a big way and also take care of your family. Take care of yourself personally. So if you're interested, go to the 3ke.2/book a call. And that'll take you to the calendar, which then when you look at the calendar, here's a bigger view of this. It'll show the highlighted ones like this. It'll show you the little circles around it. And you click on that, and then it'll show you the open appointments. And then we'll go to the next step. But it's got to be a fit. It's got to be a fit. And just so you know, it always seems impossible until it's done. So if you're like, I can't do this, I know. I said the same thing. I've seen a lot of other successful people say the same thing. I'm not meant for this. I can't do this. And I go, I know it seems like it's impossible. But wow, when you have the gift to tune into people, you work with people. That's what you do. You work with people. And we make a difference. And we help people with all this weird stuff going on in the world. And in the mastermind, lots of benefits in the mastermind. Great people to surround yourself with. Great people. You will move faster than doing it by yourself. I promise you. Because I will be there in the mastermind and your mastermind team will be there to move you, to get organized so you can make an impact in what you feel like needs to be done. So let's get you act together. What you do is go here, book a call. Let's talk. So stretch, take a risk. Let's talk. But we're not going to talk about just anything. We're talking about you. We're talking about your gift. We're talking about what you're going to do with that gift. And let's talk. Cool, huh? 3ke.2/book a call. And to help you so you can get there easier, on the right-hand side of the screen, I put up a button for you on the right-hand side. You see that where it says Kirk Duncan Mastermind? There's my little chit chat about it. It's on the right-hand side. There's the button. You can click here to book a call. It'll take you straight to the site. That way, easy to get to be able to schedule a time for you and I to talk. And we can take it to the next step. Time's ticking. And so if you're feeling the nudge and feeling the urge to make a difference, this would be what has been brought to you in front of you. And if you've been looking for a solution, it has now presented itself right in front of you. Right here, right now. Let's talk. Cool, huh? So yeah, go click that button, choose a date. So I want to go back before we leave here. I want to go back here and just touch on one or two slides here. Let me just scan back here to this one right here. Okay. I've met lots of people who think that they're open, but what's actually happening is that they are closed for some reason. Their interaction with people and all their efforts are not panning out. Something's up. There's a really good chance you're an empath that has shut off the input. An empath who has shut off the input. That you want to do something about. And not let that sit there and come up with excuses or reasons or justifications of why somebody else was the problem or something else was the problem. It's inside you. And I know that, when I read the good book, scripture, it sure talks about don't hide your gifts. So I want to end this training here today to say you have a gift, and that gift is to listen to people and to be a trouble solver in other people's lives. Whatever your current work is, do it well, because you're going to start opening up and listening to people and all the information that they give you. And then you be responsible with how you take care of that information. Respect that person. Help them find what they are looking for. That's what we're here to do. Cool. All right. Awesome. So go there, click the button on the right-hand side. Thank you for being here. If you learned something, if you got something from this training here today, will you please put a comment in the chat? Just a little snippet of what stood out to you that made a difference for you in this training. And so that I know what matters and what counts. And so I'm not way off base on this. I know what I would want you to know, but I don't know what really mattered to you. But if you would, in the chat box, say something there so that I can see that. So the next person I teach, I'll be sure to reference that again. So here in the year 2021, as you are looking at your own abilities, I hope that you do what you can on self-improvement to be able to increase the clarity and accuracy of what you're doing as an empath. And please, instead of just being unknowing, because now you know more, and instead of just cutting off people, step into being active. Let's do something about this, right? Sweet. All right. Hey, love you guys. Thank you for jumping on here this morning. And I hope to talk to you again soon. All right. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.